Welcome to Around the World Today. I'm your host, Terry Davies. And in today's episode, we are continuing our journey through the United Kingdom's devolution story. That's devolution story, people. By turning our attention to England. England, the largest and most centralised of the United Kingdom's nations, presents a unique perspective. Oh, yes, it does. On the devolution debate. We explore England's current governance framework, the rise of regional authorities, the ongoing calls for an English Parliament, and how England's approach to devolution impacts its regions and communities. So let's dive in. Unlike Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, England has historically operated a highly centralised system of governance. For centuries, power has been concentrated in Westminster, shaping a national identity that often assumes England and the United Kingdom are synonymous with each other. This centralisation has fostered political stability and uniformity in governance, but it has also created significant challenges and tensions. The dominance of London as the political and economic and cultural hub of the United Kingdom has highlighted stark regional disparities, while the capital and south-east have thrived as a global economic powerhouse. Other regions, practically in the North, Midlands and coastal towns, have struggled with economic decline, underinvestment and stagnation. Calls for change have gained momentum. During the late 20th century, practically as devolution was extended to Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland, efforts to decentralise governance in England included the creation of regional development agencies and directly elected mayors for cities like London. However, attempts to introduce a more widespread regional assembly, such as the North East referendum in 2004, were met with public resistance, halting broader progress. Despite these setbacks, there has been a renewed focus on regional governance in recent years, with initiatives like the Northern Powerhouse and the Midlands Engine, seeking to address economic imbalances. The introduction of a metro mayors in areas such as Greater Manchester, the West Midlands, and Dees Valley represents steps towards decentralisation. Still, the journey is far from complete, and England remains one of the most centralised nations in the developed world. The ongoing debate over the need for an English Parliament or further devolution within England raises important questions. Can regional governance bridge the divide between the North and South? And how can decentralisation ensure that all the regions of England benefit from the nation's prosperity? England's story is one of contrasts, a historically centralised state grappling with the challenges of modern governance and demands of a more equitable and inclusive future. In recent years, England has witnessed a shift towards regional governance through the establishment of combined authorities and elected mayors. These entities have been tasked with addressing local needs more effectively by taking control over key areas such as transportation, housing, economic development, and even aspects of health and social care, as we saw in the pandemic. If we remember, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at that time could not even negotiate with Manchester or any of the North. The creation of these regional structures marks a significant step in the decentralisation of power from Westminster. Among the most notable examples is the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, led by Mayor Andy Burnham. This region has pioneered initiatives like the integration of public transport under the B network, aiming to create a seamless and affordable system comparable to the one that's operated in London. It has also tackled pressing social issues, including homelessness, with targeted funding and innovative programs. Furthermore, the authority has begun to integrate health and social care services, aiming for a more joined-up approach that could serve as a model for other regions. The West of Midlands, under the Mayor Andy Street, is another example of how devolution is shaping local areas. The region has prioritised economic regeneration with significant investment in infrastructure projects like HS2 and urban redevelopment in cities such as Birmingham. These efforts are creating jobs and attracting businesses, but they are also highlighting the uneven distribution of resources and progress across England. London, with its established mayoralty, and the Greater London Authority continues to lead in areas such as transportation, innovation, and urban development initiatives like ultra-low emission zones, ULEZ, have positioned London as a regional global leader in tackling urban pollution. However, the city's dominance has also underscores the disparities between the regions, with smaller areas often struggling to match London's level of autonomy or resources. While these regional authorities have shown promise, challenges remain. The lack of a uniformed approach to devolution has led to inconsistencies. I really hate inconsistencies, don't you? Do you know what I mean? It's better when everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet. Some areas, such as Yorkshire, have long advocated for a greater powers, but face political and administrative hurdles. The patchwork system raises questions about equality and equilibrium. Why should some regions have more control than others? Because England didn't vote for it. You could have had the same. Furthermore, cities argue that these devolved powers often come without significant funding, limiting their effectiveness. Regional authorities frequently rely on central government grants, which can restrict their ability to make independent decisions. Despite these issues, the rise of regional authorities represents a critical step towards empowering local communities. And as more regions negotiate devolution deals, the landscape of governance in England is slowly evolving. The new key will be ensuring that this progress is inclusive and equitable, providing all parts of England with the tools they need to thrive. While regional devolution has gained traction across England, there is a growing debate about whether these superficial efforts are enough. Some argue that England, as the largest and most populous nation within the United Kingdom, needs a more cohesive and national solution: an English Parliament. Advocates for an English Parliament believe that such a body would create partiality with Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland, who already have their own devolved parliaments and legislators. They argue that an English Parliament could address issues that affect the entire nation, from infrastructure and healthcare to education and economic policy, without relying on Westminster, which also has to manage UK-wide responsibilities. Supporters point out to the so-called West Lothian question, which highlights a imbalance in UK governance. Currently, MPs from Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland can vote on England-only questions and matters in Westminster, while English MPs have no say in devolved issues elsewhere. And English Parliament, they argue, could resolve this autonomy. Autonomy? Well, it could give England a little bit more autonomy, couldn't it, in the United Kingdom? So, yes, this is an anomaly, and provide a stronger unified voice for England within the United Kingdom. However, the idea is far from universally accepted. Critics warn that the establishing of an English Parliament could further centralise powers within England itself, potentially overshadowing regional voices and perpetuating the dominance of London and the South East. There are concerns that such a move could exacerbate the very regional disparities that the existing devolution efforts aim to address. Here's a novel idea. You put the English Parliament in the middle of the country, so all of the MPs have to travel to the same place. Isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If the UK Parliament's in London, well, leave it in London. The English Parliament doesn't have to be in the same place. The Scottish Parliament isn't in the same place as the UK Parliament, neither's the Welsh or the Northern Irish. Come to think about it, neither's the Gibraltar. There is also a broader question of the UK's unity. Some fear that an English Parliament could destabilise the debate balance of the Union. England already dominates the United Kingdom in terms of population and economic power, and giving it a separate Parliament could shift the focus even further away from smaller nations fuelling calls for independence in Scotland and Wales. The debate also raises questions. Would an English Parliament sit in Westminster, as we just discussed, or would a new location be chosen? To emphasise the decentralisation, what powers would it hold? And how would these overlap with regional authorities, like those in Greater Manchester and the West Midlands. Critics suggest that without careful planning, an English Parliament could create confusing and overlapping systems of governance. Despite these challenges, the idea of an English Parliament continues to gain traction and attention, practically among those who feel left behind by regional devolution or disillusioned with the Westminster politics. Proponents argue that the current approach, a mix of regional authorities and Westminster oversight, is fragmented and inefficient. An English Parliament, they say, would provide a clear and consistent framework for governance. Ultimately, the debate over an English Parliament reflects the complexity of devolution in England. It raises fundamental questions about identity, governance, and balance of power within the United Kingdom, whether England chooses to embrace a national solution or continue with regional devolution. The conversation is far from over. It's quite funny because, like, what you do, because before England, you had places like Cornwall that were actually not part of England and were counted as their own, and there are calls there for them to have devolution and them to have a Cornish assembly. Then you have places on the border of Wales that were traditionally Welsh. Then you have places on the border of Scotland that were traditionally Scottish. Then you have the kingdoms within the United, or England, that united under one king, the powerful king, or the King of England, who then, So, historically, what do we do? England is disparately undermanned because, we all have our legislators. Yeah. Local devolution in England has delivered a mix of achievements and challenges. Let's take a closer look at what's working and where the gaps remain. On the achievement side, local devolution has enabled significant progress in areas like transportation, economic growth, and social policy. For instance, transport improvements. London's devolved transport system that never was privatised in the first place, spearheaded by Transport for London, stands as a global benchmark for urban transport, or transit, efficiency. TfL has introduced innovative solutions like the Oyster card, congestion charging, and extensive cycle networks, creating a model for integrated public transport. Similarly, Greater Manchester has made strides with its B-Line network, or B network, where aims to integrate buses, trams, and active travel routes under a unified system. Economic growth. Devolution has helped devolved regions have used powers to attract investment and foster innovation. The West Midlands under Mayor Street has become a hub for advanced manufacturing and technology, drawing on businesses and creating jobs. Similarly, Greater Manchester has seen success in areas like digital innovation, healthcare collaboration, and infrastructure development. Tailored strategies have allowed these regions to address local priorities and unlock economic potential. Yes, it has. However, in the last election, Mayor Andy Street was removed because, his party, and it's now run by Richard Parker. He now runs the West Midlands. We've had an election since I wrote this. However, yes, this wasn't planned at the beginning of the year when this series was written. However, economic growth devolved. I've lost where I am. Social policy initiatives, devolved authorities have also piloted unique social initiatives. For example, Greater Manchester has taken a holistic approach to homelessness, combining housing support with mental health and addiction services. Local authorities have been able to respond more flexibly to the needs of their communities compared to central government strategies and structures. However, devolution in England is not without its challenges. Some of the most significant hurdles include funding disparities. A key issue is the unequal distribution of resources. Wealthier regions, such as London, have a greater capacity to generate revenue through local taxes and investments, allowing them to maximise the benefits of devolution, in contrast to less affluent areas, practically in the northeast or parts of the southwest, often lack financial base to fully leverage their devolved powers. This disparity has created an even playing field, exacerbating regional inequalities. Lack of clarity and consistency. We've been talking about this. The deal-based nature of England devolution has led to patchwork of agreements, each with different powers and responsibilities. For instance, when Greater Manchester has significant control over health and social care, other regions have far more limited powers. The inconsistency, both would apply here, has left some areas feeling left behind and frustrated, confused about what devolution can achieve for them. Well, of course, any first-year marketing student will tell you, get your branding right, get your message right from day one. Limited public awareness, CC, and engagement. Many people in England remain unaware of what devolved authorities actually do. Again, get your branding right, get your message out there. Or how they differ from traditional local councils. This lack of understanding can lead to disagreement and disenfranchisement and lower voter turnout in mayoral elections. Addressing this issue requires better communication and education about the role of devolved governance. Dependence on Westminster. Despite gaining certain powers, devolved regions still rely heavily on central government funding. The disparity means that local authorities often lack the autonomy they need to effect long-term plans, as their budgets can be affected by national policy changes. The story of local devolution in England is a tale of both promise and complexity. While there are shining examples of success, the system as a whole remains a work in progress, bridging future gaps, standardising devolution agreements, and fostering public engagement while be critical to ensuring that local devolution delivers on its full potential for all regions of England. Devolution isn't just about governance structures, it's about people and the tangible ways their lives are affected by shifting decision-making closer to communities. Devolution has created opportunities for more localised retrospective policies, but it has also raised important questions about fairness and inclusivity. Let's begin with positive impacts. Urban regeneration in Liverpool. Liverpool has leveraged its devolved powers to drive urban regeneration, transforming the city into a vibrant hub for culture, business and tourism. Investments in infrastructure, housing and public spaces have revitalised formerly neglected areas. Liverpool City Combined Region Authority has prioritised community-focused projects like Town Centre Fund, which supports local high streets, ensuring regeneration benefits residents as well as business. Cornwall's unique devolution deal. Cornwall, the first rural area to receive a devolution deal, has used its autonomy to focus on its distinct cultural and economic priorities. This includes supporting the Cornish language, investing in renewable energy, projects and promoting local industries like agriculture and fishing. Cornwall's approach demonstrates how devolution can empower communities to celebrate their heritage while addressing modern challenges. Public health initiatives in Greater Manchester. In Greater Manchester, devolved health powers have allowed for the integration of health and social care, leading to more cohesive services for the community. This includes targeted mental health programs and initiatives to tackle homelessness through a coordinated care. These local tailored approaches are important outcomes for vulnerable populations. However, the impact of devolution on communities is not uniform, and there are significant challenges. Regional inequalities, while some areas like Greater Manchester and the west of England, Midlands, have thrived under devolution, others struggle to achieve similar results. Regions without devolved powers with limited resources often face barriers to implementing transformative projects. For instance, rural and coastal communities in the northeast and southwest have expressed frustration over feeling left behind, as devolution tends to favour urban areas with strong economic foundations. Access to services in areas with devolved powers, services like transportation, housing and healthcare, can vary significantly depending on local priorities. While this allows a tailored solution, it also risks creating a postcode lottery, where the equity of services depends on where you live. For example, transport systems in London and Greater Manchester are far more developed than those in less affluent areas, leaving some communities without adequate access to jobs and opportunities. Community engagement. Devolution has the potential to empower citizens, but public awareness and engagement remains inconsistent. Many residents are unaware of who their regional leaders are or what powers they hold, which can lead to apathy and a lack of accountability, strangling communication and involving communities and strengthening those communications, not strangling them, because that's what they're doing right now. They're strangling them. So they need to strengthen their communications, and involving communities in decision-making processes will be key to ensuring that devolution truly serves people. The risk of new inequalities. Devolution sometimes highlighted existing divides rather than bringing them. Wealthier nations with strong leadership can attract investment and flourish, while poorer areas may struggle to keep up. Without the mechanisms to address these disparities, there's a risk that devolution could deepen inequality between the communities instead of reducing it. Ultimately, devolution in England has brought both opportunities and challenges for communities. When done well, it enables local leaders to address specific needs, celebrate unique identities, and foster a sense of belonging. However, the question whether all communities are benefiting from equally remains open. For devolution to succeed, the grassroots level, there must be a commitment to fairness and inclusivity and investment in all regions, not just the ones with the loudest voices or strongest economies. By listening to communities and addressing their diverse needs, we can ensure that devolution delivers real, lasting change for everyone. As the largest nation in the United Kingdom, England's approach to devolution has significant implications for the rest of the Union as a whole. Balancing local autonomy with national unity is a debate that I wouldn't like to have, but it's a delicate task, especially as Scotland and Wales push for greater powers. England's centralised traditions and evolving regional structures will undoubtedly play a pivotal role in shaping the future of the United Kingdom's governance. England's devolution story is one of experimentation and a lot of trying and playing with. From regional authorities to ongoing debates about an English Parliament, the path forward is far from clear. But what's certain is that the conversation about England's governance will continue to shape its future and the future of the United Kingdom. In our next episode, we will head to Northern Ireland, exploring its unique, complex relationship with devolution. Don't miss out. Thank you for tuning in to Around the World today. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts, and follow us on social media. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. And I'm Terry Davies.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review.